Sunil, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Russ?
Always good to see you. I'm doing great. Thanks.
Right here.
Let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
For anyone out there that's watching this that is thinking about launching their own recruiting agency, even for those that currently have a recruiting agency or a staffing agency and maybe struggling getting clients and really scaling, tell us how has Recruiting Me helped you and what would you tell those folks out there in that position right now?
Thanks, Russ. Recruitomy's helped me in a lot of different ways. I would say the biggest support system has been just you and the 200 plus members in the group that have been just incredibly supportive. For example, we've created a co-op group on LinkedIn, which has been incredibly helpful. And not only, so the basis for it is the members in this group can comment on each other's posts, repost posts. So it helps us all gain some traction within our own respective networks, but also gives us some exposure to other networks. So that's been incredibly helpful. I would say we have weekly calls every Wednesday with Russ, and those have been very helpful. Like we have a great platform to ask questions and be transparent with our successes, our pain points, and learn from Russ and learn from everyone else on the team. So that's been incredibly helpful to me. And so many tools at our disposal with Russ's group. Before I joined, I was a recruiter, but I'd never started my own business. So I'd never thought about like certain things that I needed to acquire before I even started a business. So some of the tools that Russ has introduced us to, including Sales Navigator and Leadcast, have been incredibly helpful in like automating a lot of messaging systems. Before I got Leadcast, I was sitting in front of a computer literally spending hours and upon hours sending out cold outreach emails. Whereas Leadcast, spending like 10, 20 minutes on it a night, like once a week, has enabled me to reach out to literally hundreds of people, and that helps generate leads. So those are some of the
Awesome.
quick thoughts I have.
Yeah, no, saving you some time. So just to
Absolutely.
take a step back, I know when we first met, when you came to me at our first consultation meeting, you were in a 9 to 5 corporate job, right?
Correct. I was.
Okay. What was it about that? What was giving you the itch to like do something on your own?
Absolutely. I think multiple things. I think over my career of a couple of decades now, I've just gotten tired of working a certain number of hours to make a certain amount of money. And just it has never sat well with me being that 9 to 5. It worked earlier in my career, but as I progressed, I realized there are certain days where I need to put in more hours, certain days I need to put less hours, and I still get the outcome that I need. So
Yep.
I think being constrained in that environment was certainly not working for me, at least. And I've always wanted to start my own thing. I come from a diverse career background. I come from cybersecurity, AI, recruitment, global development. So coming up with a model that kind of touched on all of those different sectors was where Smart Talent AI was born. And so it just was very conducive to me to create something that spoke to me and spoke to the different networks I have in place. So that's where I went.
Yeah. Did you feel like it was manageable, like when you started recruiting me, getting that up and running and also balancing your 9 to 5? Were you able to do that?
I was initially. It was a grind for sure. Working the 9 to 5, taking calls during lunch, taking calls before work, on the way to work, on the way back home from work, and then after walking the dogs, taking some more calls. It was doable for sure, but I'll be honest, it was definitely a grind, and it took a lot of self discipline,
Yeah.
and so I did that for a few months, but I decided once I had gotten my footing with the systems in place and gotten a decent network, just based on some of the techniques that Russ has taught us, I was able to get the confidence I needed to step away from that 9 to 5 and go in full force with this business, which I've been doing for now about 3 months. And yeah, I've never looked back. I don't regret it. It's a grind, but it's been fun as well, to be quite honest.
Yeah. And I know on the last coaching call, you had shared that you made a placement, right? More of a staffing type placement, like a contract hire situation.
Correct.
Nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I made my first placement. So I have a couple of consultants now on the books officially with this particular client. And it's been great. It's been a rewarding experience. It took about 2.5 to 3 months to get to this point, which is what I hear is somewhat normal. Yeah, patience is the name of the game for sure, but also hustling and making sure you're following up. Following a lot of Russ's techniques have been very helpful in securing this one client. And now I'm happy to say I have a couple more prospective clients that I'm hoping to land in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. Like here you are, never owned a recruiting agency, had some recruiting background, but you were maintaining a corporate job, not really doing recruiting. In 2 to 3 months, you made some placements, which is fantastic, by the way. I applaud you for that. You always showed up, Sunil. I know this wasn't like something, it wasn't like an overnight miracle for you. No one did the work for you. You always came to the coaching calls. I always saw you like at lunchtime outside trying to make it happen, which I really respect the fact that you were doing that and trying to make this. And I think the message to people is any business that you start is going to be a grind, right? Like you got to give it your all and you got to be obsessed with it and work after hours for anything to work. Even if it's like a landscaping business, if you're cutting yards, doesn't matter if it's recruiting what it is, no one's going to do the work for you. And you showing up and grinding is starting to pay off right now. So I think I want to applaud you for that for sure.
No, thanks, Russ. It's a mutual feeling. Like I think, sure, I've definitely taken the onus to make it a grind every day, but you and the network you've built within Recruiting Me has certainly been pushing me to do this as well, and all the tidbits. And Russ, is like anywhere I travel now for networking or trade shows, which you've also encouraged me to do quite a bit of, I inevitably am able to meet up with someone else from the community, which has been
Yeah.
amazing because we get to talk to each other over coffee, understand what each of our successes have been, what our pain points have been. Just last week, I was in San Francisco, met up with one of our other members there. Was in Atlanta a few months ago, met up with another member there. So that's honestly been probably the biggest pro to all of this, just that community that you have built of such great recruiters that have a very similar mindset. And we're actually now talking about co-hosting events around the country now, and that's something probably that could not have been done without being part of this unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how recruiting me has evolved over the past 4 to 5 years. Like behind the scenes, I was hearing about members just getting together, forming friendships, partnerships, even doing split deals through the school coaching site that we have.
Yeah.
But you've really taken advantage of that. And I think there's been times I've been a solopreneur for quite some time, and there's weeks where you don't have the best weeks, right? And you might feel down and you have no one to lean on or a sense of community or support. And I know what the members share with me and what you're sharing here today is that you've really found that dynamic within Recruiting Me, which I think is great. And I love the fact that you post pictures on the community board with other members. It warms my heart. So thank you for doing that. And yeah, and as far as the trade shows, like I'm a big believer in recruiters going out there and participating in trade shows, getting out of their office, get out from behind the computer, and go meet hiring managers and go meet potential candidates. There's been a big debate lately. Will AI take over recruiting and staffing? When I do my consulting calls during the week for aspiring recruiters who want to do this, they're always like, hey, I'm a little worried about AI. And I'm like, look, AI is never going to take over relationship building. Recruiting is relationship building. The most successful recruiters that I've known in my 27 years are the ones who build the best relationships. Get out there, shake some hands, go to happy hours, meet people, play golf, whatever it is. Those are the ones who really do well and end up billing 7 figures annually.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it any better. And that's something I've always been a big proponent of, especially as a recruiter. You have to, like, yes, it's important to build your network on LinkedIn and using Leadcast and all these tools. End of the day, though, nothing beats that actual physical handshake you can make with fellow recruiters, fellow hiring managers, or not fellow hiring managers, prospective candidates.
Yeah.
And the one official client I have was, it'll be through a networking event that I was at in San Francisco. And these next two that I've referred to earlier are also through events that I've been at. So these are all coming through with time that has been developed over building relationships with these clients. So in person, yeah, 100%. If you have the means and will to do it, you should 100% get out there. I'm 100% behind that, Russ.
Yeah. So no, refresh my memory. Did you dive into the one-on-one personalized video messaging strategies and using the templates that we have, like the MPC templates and stuff like that?
Yes, I
Okay.
have. Because I've deviated a little bit from the full-time placement to more contract hire. I haven't been using the MPC form as diligently as I initially was, but I have used it and it has received positive feedback from the clients that I've shared MPCs with. And the dub videos have been amazing. I think I've shared this with you, Russ, and the group. There was a couple of times where I was being ghosted by clients, prospective clients, and I sent a video message to them to their phone. And then I almost one time I immediately got a response like
Yeah.
5 minutes later. saying, yes, I'm going to call you right back. And I
Yeah.
was able to finally get a call with that person. Yeah. So
Awesome.
being diligent with those video calls, video messaging has added that extra layer of humanity to recruiting that is needed, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I love that you stick with it. And yeah, everything that I've tested in my 27 years, like cold calling, knocking on doors, direct mail, cold email, nothing has worked better than the personalized videos, which, yeah, can take a little bit of time during the day, but well worth it with the conversions that we see as far as getting
Absolutely.
responses from cold hiring managers. Nice. Hey, enough about this whole thing. I want to talk about you. So you're in AI, right? So tell me
Correct.
tell me about your niche and how you can help companies out there as well.
Yeah, no, thanks, Russ. So I've developed Smart Talent AI into an AI consulting company at this point. Basically, we send out consultants, both technical and non-technical in nature, to a variety of companies in all kinds of verticals, mainly small to medium-sized businesses and cities as well. We're working with for helping those entities automate processes, develop and deploy AI agents, workflow systems to basically streamline their processes on the back end that's holding up projects in project development. One example, we're actively working with a client to help streamline their CRM, for example, and make that more automated. So there's a ton, as we all know, there's a ton of talent out there. However, a lot of companies are not ready to invest full time in having someone sit there and develop these workflows, but they're ready to invest in project development, specific automation. So that's how my model has been born out of, just sending out
Nice.
consultants for specific things. And when it comes to cities, that's been an interesting niche because it's a mix of my urban development, global development, and AI cyber background. And cities are, as we all know, trying to up their game when it comes to technology as well, streamlining their processes and helping them engineer solutions for their citizens has been another focus of ours. So that's those are the focal points of our company.
Perfect. I'll make sure that I include your LinkedIn URL here in the description so any prospective candidate or even hiring manager can reach out to you and engage and possibly partner with you.
Thank you, Russ.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. Yeah. So, Sunil, thank you so much for being here today, for sharing your experience with recruiting me, also sharing exactly how you're helping companies and candidates out there. I guess the last thing I want to ask, a lot of times I get questions like, oh, I've been watching the news and it just feels like companies don't need people nowadays, like doom and gloom. What would you say to that person that might be on the fence about starting their own recruiting company, but they're watching the news and they're thinking the economy is not great and or hey, it's just too competitive. What would you tell that person?
They're not wrong when they say that it's a competitive environment. That is 100% true. But there are definitely a lot of avenues. Like you hit the nail on the head earlier, Russ. AI is here and it's here to stay, whether we like that or not. That's another debate, obviously, we can have. But the human aspect to recruiting is what is starting to be highly coveted now by hiring managers. So I think opening up your own business, starting your own business with that model, with that priority in mind, with the humanizing the recruitment process and
Yeah.
selling that to clients and candidates is what's going to win and make you stand up above all other competition. So I think now is a great time to be a recruiter because even if even if in your industry you're finding there's a lot of other recruiters, there are a lot of hiring managers that are saying there's a lot of recruiters just throwing resumes at me, but they're not enough recruiters out there making that personal connection with me or sending those videos to me, sending NPCs to them. So like that there are a lot of ways to stand out still. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it's important to have a very deliberate approach when it comes to starting your own business, and working with Russ and recruiting me has certainly helped me stand out, I think.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm with you. I think when I hear something's competitive, I'm like all in. I'm like, great. Hey, the market's been tested. There's desire and need out there. There's
Exactly.
demand. If I get a small sliver of that pie, I'm happy. I'm working from home, working from Starbucks, doing over 1 million a year. Great. I can deal with that. So it's
Me
yeah,
up. Yeah.
competition never scares me. That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely, Russ. Uh,
Nice. So
Thanks
no,
again.
thank you. Yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you in the coaching call this week. We're gonna pivot to Friday, I believe. But as always, thank you so much, man. Super proud of your accomplishments so far, and thanks for all your contributions here.
Thanks, Russ, and looking forward to continuing working with the team.
Absolutely.